One of the major experiences I had was one with my father. When I was a child, he brought us to see the holy person, si Padre Pio in Italy. It was a very early morning, and it always taught me to be considerate of others' feelings. It was 5 in the morning, and then there was a young boy who served us. And he served us eggs, and they were not cooked. So I was a very young child. I spat it out, and my father always said, "You should have taken some bread and swallowed the egg because you hurt the feelings of this child who cooked for us." And he was a young boy of 15. He was the waiter. I've always learned to be considerate of others' feelings because of the lesson of my father. And my mother would always tell me, she would point to a portrait of her father, my grandfather, Jose Abad Santos. And she always told me that no matter what, you cannot compromise your principle, no matter how hard it is, because I would be letting down the martyrdom of my father. So those are the two childhood memories that I live by and continue to live by. Painful, I think, would be a word that would also show growth. I don't think there can be pain without growth. Painful to me would be the fact that in my 6 years in the Senate, I have seen so many bills passed that are against the poor, but I could not do anything because I only counted for 1 vote. Painful for me would be to see those people in Isla Pulo today who, if our politicians were less corrupt, could have decent housing, decent food, decent electricity. It's very hard to see that when you know the billions of pesos that are being put in the wrong hands. Very painful for me was to vote for a 6 billion relief package for Ondoy when I knew it would not go to the victims. But I said better to vote for it to see maybe a percentage would go to the victims. But I went all over the country, and unfortunately the 6 billion that was voted by Congress did not reach the people, and that's very painful. That is why I'm running for president, because as a senator, when you see this injustice, you just cannot sit down and say, I'll just be a senator because it's nice. No, it's not nice when you see injustice and you cannot do anything. Our top 3 problems, I don't want to say corruption, because sometimes you can have a leader who is not corrupt, but you cannot still solve what ails people because there's no leadership. We lack spiritual leadership. I came here today because I draw my inspiration from groups like you who are disciplined, who follow a certain spiritual ethic, and that is what is lacking. Most of our leaders are 100% politicians. We need statesmen as leaders. We need people who not only pray but walk their talk. It's easy to pray. It is hard to do. I think with spiritual leadership, if we have it, all the other problems will be solved, because it is like shining light in a dark room. The light does not choose where to go. So let us shine our light individually so that collectively light will be shown upon us. And God is already showing His light, because there has never been a gathering like this for presidential candidates. I thank you from the bottom of my heart by all your efforts to put this together, to make this possible. Is really God-given and God-influenced. Thank you. Let's put a big fish in jail. And if I have to start with my family, I will not spare them. That is what's important. Start with your family. If there's a big bad fish, put them in jail. And the big fish na pinakawalan lang, put him back in jail. Hindi, pero kasama kayo sa akin advocacy na kung yung malalaking isda ay nasa kulungan, kayo naman may ginhawa na. I'm sure because at least your hearts will be one with the nation in feeling that justice is done. As long as there is no justice, you cannot fight corruption.
Nagulat ako sa sinabi ni Senator, kasama daw kayo sa makukulong.
De, kasama sa isusulong.